Since the moment of his birth in Belgium, Ashraf Al-Sakaki was never just another immigrant of Moroccan descent growing up in marginalized neighborhoods. He was a criminal project taking shape in the shadows. It didn't take long before his name shifted from being just a number in police files to a living nightmare in European intelligence records. A man who defied the toughest prison systems and outsmarted the strictest security measures, his life became more like a Hollywood scenario than mere reality. In Belgium, he was nicknamed the King of Escape. In Morocco, he became a symbol of painful security failure. And across Europe, he turned into a ghost ruling organized crime networks from behind bars. How could a young man who began his criminal life at the age of 13 rise to control a transnational mafia network? And how did he manage to humiliate the security apparatus in both Belgium and Morocco, bending prisons to his own rules? In this video, we'll take you on an unconventional journey through the story of a man who turned his cell into a command center and prisons into transit stations. We'll reveal the details of his daring helicopter escape from Bruges prison, the mystery of the suitcase that smuggled him out of Oujda prison, and the secrets of the empire he built from behind the walls, aided by his brothers and a complex web of connections. Stay with us until the end, and don't forget to support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you won't miss any updates. Ashraf Al-Sakaki, born in 1983, grew up in a harsh environment. His family had migrated from Morocco's Rif region to Belgium, a transition that deeply shaped his personality. He was raised in neighborhoods marked by severe social and economic hardships, leaving him with feelings of isolation and loss. Life in Belgium was far from easy, and surrounded by challenges, Sakaki developed a growing sense of alienation and rebellion. It was within this environment that the seeds of crime began to take root in him at an early age. By the age of 13, Sakaki had already stepped into the criminal world. He was arrested for the first time on charges of robbery and carrying knives. With his aggressive and volatile nature, he quickly found himself in direct confrontation with the law. He became one of the first young offenders to impose his presence inside Belgian prisons, where he was transferred to juvenile detention centers. Yet, these institutions did not restrict his criminal ambitions. On the contrary, they became a launchpad into the world of organized crime. During his time behind bars, Sakaki began executing a series of escape attempts that combined boldness with remarkable cunning. He managed to break free more than 15 times from various detention centers, earning him the infamous nickname of the King of Escape in Belgium. These escapes were not simply desperate bids for freedom, but rather an expression of his rebellious nature, a refusal to accept legal or social constraints. On his 16th birthday, however, Sakaki found himself in serious trouble when he threatened a prison guard with a sharp weapon. This incident led the judicial authorities to impose a 9-year prison sentence on him, despite his status as a minor. From that moment, Sakaki began to evolve into a far more dangerous figure. He gradually gained power and influence within Belgian prisons, becoming the unofficial leader of several small criminal groups operating under his command. This marked the true beginning of his transformation from a petty offender into a mafia leader behind prison walls. Inside Belgium's Turnhout prison, Ashraf Al-Sakaki's criminal path took a dramatic turn. It was there that he met one of his future partners, Majid Kazmi. This encounter was not a mere coincidence, but the beginning of a powerful criminal alliance, one that would evolve into a major gang with Sakaki as its mastermind and leader. From that meeting, He began laying the foundations for an expanding criminal enterprise that would soon include armed bank robberies, drug trafficking, and large-scale smuggling operations across Belgium and the Netherlands. In 2003, Sakaki carried out his first major escape attempt from Turnhout prison, alongside Kazmi. Using external ladders, they scaled the prison walls and broke free. This daring escape was far from ordinary. It marked the start of a series of audacious criminal adventures that would follow. After the breakout, Sakaki launched a wave of bank robberies across Belgium and the Netherlands. Armed with firearms, he orchestrated meticulously planned operations executed with precision. Security services and the media quickly began to describe him as the mastermind behind these heists, noting both his boldness and his calculated efficiency. Amid these daring and successful operations, Sakaki's name became one of the most notorious in Europe's criminal underworld. The media dubbed his crew the AXA Gang, after the bank repeatedly targeted by his assaults. The nickname soon became a symbol of power and fear, cementing his reputation as a rising figure in organized crime. He built a complex network that stretched across Belgium and the Netherlands, linking his name to transnational criminal syndicates. But Sakaki's influence did not end with robberies. He expanded his empire into drug trafficking and smuggling, relying on his associates to distribute narcotics through a vast network spanning Belgium and the Netherlands, where he firmly established his dominance in the trade. In July 2009, Belgium and the world were stunned when Ashraf Al-Sakaki pulled off an unprecedented escape from Bruges prison, one of the most secure facilities in Europe. Yet for Sakaki, whose reputation as an escape artist was already legendary, this prison became just another chapter in his astonishing criminal adventures. In a scene straight out of an action movie, Sakaki and two accomplices hijacked a tourist helicopter mid-flight and forced the pilot to land inside the prison courtyard. The Bruges prison escape was extraordinary, not only for its method, but also for its audacity. As soon as the helicopter touched down, Sakaki and his partners boarded and flew away, vanishing from one of Europe's most heavily guarded prisons in what remains one of the boldest prison breaks in history. But this was no mere show of force. The operation was the result of meticulous planning. Sakaki exploited weaknesses in Belgium's prison security systems and coordinated with a trusted network of accomplices who helped him execute the plan flawlessly. After his legendary escape, Sakaki launched a wave of armed robberies and hostage-takings across Belgium. The prison break was not the end of his crimes, but the beginning of a new chapter of violent operations targeting different locations throughout the country. As European media echoed his name, Sakaki quickly became public enemy number one, not only in Belgium, but across several countries. Yet, despite the massive security pressure, he managed to slip away to Morocco using a forged passport, entering through Spain. But the chase was far from over. Moroccan authorities, too, were on high alert after receiving reports of his presence in the country, especially as King Mohammed VI was expected to visit the Al-Hokeima region. This turned Sakaki into a fugitive even within his homeland. The security dragnet tightened, and Moroccan intelligence placed him at the center of their pursuit, leaving no resource untapped to track him down. On August 8, 2009, Moroccan security forces carried out a complex operation that culminated in his arrest in the city of Oujda. The dramatic manhunt had stretched on for weeks, involving car chases and intense security sweeps. He was transferred to Oujda prison, where many believed his long string of escapes had finally come to an end. But Sakaki had already proven time and again his ability to outsmart authorities, and even behind Moroccan bars, he never stopped plotting new escape attempts. In November 2010, Ashraf Al-Sakaki once again proved that there were no limits to his creativity when it came to escaping prisons. He demonstrated his extraordinary ability to manipulate security systems inside even the most heavily guarded facilities. This time, however, he didn't rely on complex techniques or sophisticated tools. He used something simple, right in plain sight: a suitcase. In this daring attempt, Sakaki folded his body inside a large travel bag. His lover, who colluded with him, posed as a visiting family member, concealing her true intentions behind what appeared to be nothing more than luggage. Thanks to the cooperation or negligence of a guard who failed to conduct a proper inspection, the suitcase carrying a convicted prisoner passed smoothly through the visiting gate, allowing Sakaki to escape. This escape became one of the most astonishing prison breaks in Moroccan history. No one had imagined that such a bold getaway could be carried out using nothing more than a suitcase. The incident left Moroccan authorities stunned and bewildered, exposing vulnerabilities in a system that never expected such a simple yet deceptive method to succeed. Even after his arrest and imprisonment in Morocco, Ashraf Al-Sakaki never ceased his criminal activities. In 2016, Belgian authorities uncovered one of his biggest secrets. Sakaki was still leading his criminal network from inside his cell in Salé prison, one of the most secure facilities in Morocco. His operations went far beyond escape attempts. From behind bars, he continued coordinating drug trafficking, money laundering, and extortion, managing a sophisticated web of communications and accomplices, including his own brothers, Walid and Nasser ad-Din. Despite being confined in prison, Sakaki remained able to exploit his influence and command a transnational crime syndicate operating between Belgium and Morocco. Drug and arms trafficking formed a central part of his activities. Walid played a key role in smuggling narcotics and weapons across multiple borders, while Nasser ad-Din was involved in cocaine distribution and cannabis cultivation in Belgium and the Netherlands. The continuation of his criminal empire from within prison posed an additional security challenge to both Belgian and Moroccan authorities. Even in maximum security facilities, Sakaki managed to leverage his vast network of connections to expand his influence. This period highlighted that he was not merely a criminal, but a man capable of running an entire crime empire from his cell, pushing prison systems to the limits of their effectiveness. Equally striking was the level of family involvement in his network. With his brothers actively engaged in trafficking operations and his connections to organized crime groups across Belgium and Europe, Sakaki became a key figure in the underworld. His ability to orchestrate large-scale operations from behind bars revealed a new level of challenge for law enforcement, forcing authorities to monitor his every move with extreme caution. In 2019, Ashraf Al-Sakaki was sentenced in absentia by a Belgian court to 4 years in prison for running a criminal organization from his cell inside Morocco's Salé prison. The verdict came as a result of ongoing investigations into the criminal activities he continued to orchestrate, even while behind bars. The main charges against him were linked to the 2017 armed attack in Eindhoven, the Netherlands, where a restaurant was targeted in a violent assault that left several victims. Investigators revealed that Sakaki was the mastermind behind the operation, coordinating it from prison as part of a wider series of criminal activities executed through his complex network of loyal associates. At the same time, Belgian authorities continued probing his role in large-scale arms and drug trafficking operations managed through his close circle, including members of his own family. This network stretched between Belgium and Morocco and implicated numerous individuals, many of whom were later arrested. Despite the sanctions imposed by Belgian courts, Sakaki remained able to direct his criminal empire from inside prison. His name became synonymous with organized crime, not only in Belgium, but across several other European countries. In recent years, as events escalated around him, Ashraf Al-Sakaki emerged as one of the most notorious figures in organized crime across Europe and Morocco. His name became tied to major criminal operations carried out by a cross-border network, and new trials revealed additional crimes under his command, cementing his place as one of the most infamous criminals of modern times. Despite the prison sentences he has faced and the constant monitoring by Moroccan authorities, Sakaki remains one of the most notorious offenders who has yet to face full justice. Numerous investigations targeting him are still ongoing, focusing on organized crime and international smuggling. Recent reports confirm that he is still regarded as an active security threat, and that imprisonment alone has not been enough to halt his activities. More recently, Sakaki has remained a hot topic in the media, with reports highlighting his continued attempts to run criminal networks even from behind bars. Through a network of close associates, he has maintained access to contacts outside prison walls, overseeing drug and arms trafficking operations, as well as money laundering. In conclusion, the story of Ashraf Al-Sakaki remains one of the strangest and boldest tales of criminal escape, marked by a mix of audacity and cunning. From his teenage years in Belgian prisons to leading a criminal syndicate from inside Salé prison, his name endures as one of the most prominent symbols of organized crime in both Europe and Morocco. And with that, we reach the end of today's video. Don't miss the chance to stay updated, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to receive all our latest content.